We have entered July, which means by good old Danish standards, it's raining. But it also means that it's time for my June wrap-up. And I have read 24 books in June. That's pretty good. Let's start with talking about all the Danish books I have read, because I'll not go deep into them because I don't know how many of you are able to read the Danish books. I have read The Whisper of the Raven #2 and it got 5 stars. I liked it another way than I liked the first one. They are very different from each other, but I really like both of them. And it's a book about Norse mythology and it's just great. I love it, I love it, I love it. The next book, Danish book I read, is a book called Ilttyv, Oxygen Thief by Nicole Boyle Rødtnes. I gave it 3 stars. It's about it's about the future where oxygen is not a thing that you're promised and you have to fight hard to get oxygen and survive. I have read it before. I just don't think I am the age that this book is written for. Then I read Spectrum by Nanna Foss, the first and the second book. The first book got 5 stars and the second book got 4 stars. They have two different tellers. In the first book we are following Emilie and in the second book we are following Pig. And I think the reason why the second book got 4 stars is because I feel more like Emilie. Then we have Silent Worlds by Boris Hansen, the first one. Den usynlige krig, The Invisible War. And it got 3 stars. We are following some fictions agents that are traveling into books and tries to save the books from other agents. I think it's interesting. It's an interesting idea, but it didn't really catch me. It didn't really catch me at any point. But I will read on in the series, but I was not really intrigued. Then I read a book called Når hjertet er en ildpisker, When the Heart is a Whisker. I don't know if that's right. By Mette Vidsø, and it got 5 stars. It was about a girl named Pig again, and she has anxiety, which is basically the plot of the book. I feel like it did not have a lot of plots. It was based on the characters. It was mainly about the anxiety, which I felt was perfect, because I have anxiety myself, and I feel like sometimes when you have anxiety, it's really hard to explain to people that don't have anxiety what is really going on in your body and your mind and why you're reacting like you do. It just explained so well what's going on, and I was just like, oh my god, I felt heard. That's amazing. And that was actually the Danish books I read, so let's sit down and have a chat about all the other books, shall we? I also read Family Ties by Danielle Steel, and I gave that book 4 stars. We are meeting this woman who is losing her sister in an accident, and now she has to raise her sister's 3 kids. We are following her primarily when the kids are grown and she needs to find her own place in the life after the kids don't need her anymore. We are following how she is trying to get her own life and how she is helping the kids to manage through their lives as well, and we are following through all the drama that is happening with the kids. And let me tell you, there is a lot of drama with the kids. I think it's a great book. It was a book with focus on family, and I love that. And support. I feel like it could be nice to have more connections between the siblings and not just between the aunt and the kids, between the aunt and the kids. But it's a great book and I love the support that was shown. The kids was annoying at points and I'm like, you're grown up, show that. Then I read the 5 first books in Heartstopper and I liked them. The 4 first books got 5 stars and the 5th book got 4 stars. And the reason why, I think the 5th book, I kind of feel like it could have stopped after book 3 or 4. It feels like it's getting a little out of hand by now, to be honest. And I enjoy the characters and I enjoy the story and I feel like it's important topics it takes up, but I feel like the last few books has been really different from the first couple of books. Then we have The Isle of the Lost by Melissa de la Cruz, and I've made a video on this channel where you could read it with me. I didn't like it. We're following Mal, Evie, Jay and Carlos from The Descendants, and we are getting the story about how they get friends. You can hear all my thoughts in the video that is linked in the description box. But it got 2 stars and I was not intrigued by this story. It felt stupid. Then I read The Housemaid by Frida McFadden and it got 3 stars. I also made a reading vlog over that book. We're following this girl, Millie, who is starting to work as a maid for Nina and her husband. I don't remember. Nina and her daughter is bitches against Millie and something isn't right in the house. One night she is waking up and the door to her room is locked and things are just weird in this house. Then I read the 2nd book in They Both Die at the End, and it was The Survivor Was to Die at the End. We are following Paz, who we met in one of the earlier books. I don't know if it's the prequel or it's the first book, but we're meeting Paz. I think it's in the prequel we're meeting him. And he is now one of our lead characters, and he was a former child star, but he lost all opportunities after he killed his dad to save his mom. And then we are meeting Alano, who is the heir to the Death Caste Imperium, and they become friends and got close, and yeah, it got 5 stars. Then we have Funny Story by Emily Henry, and it's a really cute book about 2 roommates that moved in together after their exes got together. And now they are starting to fake date to make their exes think they have moved on. Yeah, it's just really cute. I also read Fives Alive and I also made a video about that, a reading vlog about that by Holly Jackson. I gave it 4 stars, so it's not really bad, but it was just not my favorite of them. It's about this group of teens who are caught in a forest and they get told that one of them has a secret and not all of them are going to get away alive. Then we have Faded, which is the first book in Soul Seekers by Alyssa Noel. This one got 2 stars. It is based a lot on Indian beliefs and it just got confusing for me. I feel like it was told in a really confusing way. I feel like you kind of have to know a bit about the beliefs before you start reading this book to actually understand what is going on. and I did not, and this book was annoying. I did not like it. It got 2 stars. The next book also got 2 stars. It was The Betrothed by Kiera Cass. I should probably talk about The Aya by Kiera Cass, which is the 4th book in the selection, before I talk about The Betrothed, because I read The Aya before I read The Betrothed. I read them the same day. The Aya is a spin-off to the selection trilogy. I feel like Kiera Cass has a way to end her books the same way every time. And it was fine with The Aya, which got 4 stars. It was fine, but when I then finished The Betrothed just after, I got annoyed because what the fuck is going on? Why do you have to end all your books like that? So it got 2 stars. The Betrothed is about a girl named Hollis, who is dating King Jameson, and he is publicly telling that he loves her and that she will be the queen. And suddenly she gets a real taste of what it is like to be married to King Jameson. And it's not perfect. It's not a perfect life, let me tell you. Then we have another Holly Jackson book. It is the reappearance of Rachel Price. That one got 5 stars. We are following the girl Belle, who lost her mother 16 years ago. Her mother just disappeared. But suddenly her mother is coming back, and everything was supposed to be happy-lappy. Like her mother got back from the death where they thought she was. Everybody thought she was dead. And now she's back, and it's just not the happy reunion that Belle always dreamed of. So there's a little mysterious feeling in this book. Then I read Powerful, which is the side story to Powerless. So this was about Peyton's best friend Adena, and it tells the story about what happened to Adena after Peyton left to live at the castle and be in these tournaments. It was a really cute story. I actually gave it 5 stars, not because it's perfect deep literature, but because it's a cute story, and I feel like that was what it was supposed to be, just a cute side story about Adena. I felt like it was cute and I liked the story, so it got 5 stars. Then I read Fake Skating by Lynn Painter. It's about this girl, Danny, who is returning to Minnesota with her mom, where they're going to live with her grandpa. Danny is now meeting her childhood friend, Alec, and he is very different from the guy she knew when they were kids. He is a complete douche. They end up fake dating, and that gives them the opportunity to get to know each other again and get the memories back. I really wanted to give this book 4 stars. It was not a 5-star book. It could be 4 stars, but it got 3 stars because I got a little mad because they started to use the word cocksucker as a slur, as a bad thing, and I'm just like, I actually talked with my friends the day before I read this book, and we talked about how nice it was that there was not really that many homophobic slurs anymore. In Denmark, at least, we are not using that much homophobic slurs. I felt like it couldn't get 4 stars when they used a word as cocksucker like that. So it got 3 stars instead. Then I read the 3rd book in The Girl with the Blue Bicycle. I don't even remember what it's called in English. The Devil is Still Laughing. I feel like this book is very different from the 2 first books in the series. It's more war related. I feel like in the first 2 books we are still following Leah, but in the two first books Leah is very naive and stupid and egoistic, and I did not like her. She was very selfish in the first 2 books. I always knew that she would improve throughout the series, and in this book, which was supposed to be the last book in the series, Leah is actually acknowledging how she was in the start and how she has grown throughout the series, and that's so nice. Besides that, this book is very harsh compared to the first 2 books. In this book we are having a lot of deaths. I needed to take breaks from the book from time to time and just breathe, because it was rough. I feel like all the people, more than less, all the people that she had in the start of the book, they died throughout the book. There was so much death in this book, and I felt like I could take a break from the book, but some people actually lived in this world, and they couldn't just say, oh, I'm tired of the war, I will take a break from the war. They couldn't do that. Damn, did I feel privileged. And I think it came to the last book now. Yeah, the last book I read in June was Taming 7, and I actually finished this at June 30th, so the last day of June. And this is the 5th book in Boys of Tommen. We are following Gypsy and Claire. I remember I wrote with someone about this book. It's Meredith's next chapter I talked with right before I started reading this book, like 10 days ago. I spoke with her and I was like, Gypsy is such a fun character, and I know that he probably has his demons and stuff, but I can't wait to hear it from Gypsy because he's just so fun. Let me tell you. The book started with Gypsy's sister's funeral. Like, the first chapter was a fucking funeral, and I was just like, I can't wait to get into having a little fun. And I knew there would be some bad stuff because it is a Boys of Tommen book, but first chapter and it's a funeral for Gypsy's sister. So I literally cried at page 4 or something. It was madness. But it got 5 stars, of course it did. Yet there was a lot of plot turns throughout this book, and oh my god, I cried and I laughed and I gasped, and it was amazing. I feel like Claire was boring in the story, to be honest. Everything was in Gypsy, and the only thing Claire had, and that's something that is also talked about in the other books, but it's really playing a role in this book, is Liz and Gypsy's fight, where she has to choose between them. And I understand, but I feel like if that's the biggest problem in your story, is really not that deep. That was all the 24 books I have read in June. Let me know in the comments what is the best book you have read in June. Thank you so much for watching.